So what I'm going to do tonight again is give you an overview of the dredging that we've done so far and what we're planning for this year. I'm going to talk to you about the areas that we'll be dredging for 2011, some of the preparation that we've done so far, and then I'll kind of go into some of the specifics of the dredge plan, including the pre-dredge activities that we've completed, and more in depth into the hydraulic dredging and the mechanical dredging, and kind of give you an introduction into the environmental monitoring that we do generally throughout the season. So far we've dredged approximately 225,000 cubic yards of material, and we've dredged these areas here. Since 1988, we've removed 225,000 cubic yards, but we've only done dredging since 2004, 2005. So that total includes everything that we've done so far. For 2011, we're going to have the typical funding rate, which is $15 million. We're not going to have any additional stimulus funding, so we're expecting to have a minimum of 45 days of dredging. Right now, our schedule has already started. We've started in May with some kind of pre-mobilization activities, and that'll continue on into June. We'll start the dredging in July and continue on until about September, October, and then we'll start to demob in October, November. And generally, we expect to be working six days a week, 12-hour days. We won't be doing any dredging on Saturdays, just Monday through Friday. So, just to kind of get you into give you some of the details about the dredging. We will be dredging 7 areas. We have 4 key areas that we're focusing on: G, K, L, and Q. At this point, we have 2 contingency areas, O and P, and those are set up in case we have additional time, and because a lot of the dredging is based on the tides, we also have to have contingency areas for that. So we're approximating about 25,000 cubic yards to be removed this year. But it could definitely be more. It just depends on how the season goes. And as most of you are familiar with, we're removing any contaminated sediments above 10 parts per million. So one of the things that we've done to kind of prepare the areas is we've done a marine archaeological survey. So we've gone into these areas and used specialized archaeological equipment, a magnetometer, sub-bottom profiler, and some other equipment. And basically it gives us some idea of what's in the sediment. So it scans the bottom of the harbor, and it identifies where possible anomalies might be. So these are just kind of the results that we get. These are samples of it. Actually, this is from the shipwreck survey that we had done. But generally, this is what we'll get. And then we'll analyze that data and determine whether or not there's a possibility of it being something of significance. So our main objective really is to make sure we don't get anything into the dredge. But we also want to make sure that we don't hit anything of significance. I mean, we did find the shipwreck, so we are concerned to a certain extent that there may be other archaeological finds in the area. And as I mentioned, we've already started some of that work. That started in April. We're continuing on with that work until June. But I do want to let you know that we will be in contact with all the different archaeological stakeholders in Massachusetts, including the Massachusetts Historical Commission, the Bureau of Underwater Archaeological Resources, the tribes, and other organizations who are interested in the archaeological finds in the area. At this point, we will be reporting at our next meeting what our finds are. But we will be in contact with the stakeholders, and they'll also be analyzing the data. Let's see. So just to get into a little bit more detail about the actual dredging. Let's see, so we've started, as I mentioned, we started some pre-dredge activities, and that's going to go on until June. I'll go into a little bit more details about the pre-dredging activity that we conduct in another slide, but just to give you a little bit more details of the type of equipment or the type of dredging that we'll be doing in different areas. We will be doing mechanical and hydraulic dredging, and for the mechanical dredging will be happening in these areas up here, and we will do mechanical dredging in Area Q, which is an area that we're working for the city and essentially to make the harbor more accessible. So, and that's something I'll provide more details on in an upcoming slide. But our basic plan with the hydraulic dredging is to start off in three areas. We'll have a dredge in each of these areas, and then we'll move in from the G area, we'll move into N. From the K area, we'll move into O. From the L, we'll move into P. So that's basically what the basic plan is. To give you some idea of what the pre-dredge activities include, at this point, we have a pipeline that runs from area C, which is our desanding area, down to the dewatering area, and we're kind of moving that pipe around. And actually, we're anchoring the pipe at this point. And we'll also be setting up our booster pumps, which pump all the sediments from the dredge area down into Area C and then to Area D. So we'll be setting some of that up. As some of you may be aware, for the dredging, we use sheeting. So the sheetings go into the dredge areas, and there's a cable that runs between the two sheetings. And the dredge basically moves along that cable in order to pull up the sediment, to pump up the sediment. So the cable is actually used to guide the dredge along the dredge area, but it's also used to push into the mud so that it can get to the levels that we need to get to.